baseball. Cole Tucker, who went homer, triple in his spring training debut. Cole, why is baseball so easy?
It's not. It's super not. But today it was really fun. So just trying to stack those days together and build the momentum that we finished the year with last year and just take it in this year. Glad it showed up today.
You know, that kind of leads into something. I mean, regular season's obviously a completely different monster than what you see now. But to get a start like this, what can that do for a guy's mentality?
Yeah, I mean, baseball is so much about confidence. And like the first day of spring training is scary for a lot of guys because you might lose your thumbs and get jammed or miss the ball all day. And when you come out and the work you put in the off season shows up day one, you feel really good about it. I'm going to go home and feel good all night tonight.
So arguably the most fun game we had at PNC Park, the Jacob Stallings game against the Mets, obviously a big one, but you hit the grand slam. That game was absolutely bananas. You made just a ridiculous catch diving in the right field, but you hit over 300 the last month of the season, close to it, Cole. Did something click, or what happened that turned it on offensively for you?
Yeah, I don't know if something clicked because I don't want to like say anything in stone, but things started to make more sense for me, and I got away from being internal and focusing on having this perfect swing or trying to do all these things in the cage and in batting practice, and just getting back to the basics of putting the barrel on the ball. And you see today, it's fun when that happens, and just trying to continue to put the barrel on the ball a lot.
All right. They're telling me to get 2 outs here. We got to put an end this. We can go on and on and on with this interview. So with that said, will you please just throw it back up to the booth? Greg Brown and Bob Walk, please.
Yeah, Walk and Greg, good to see you guys. Let's send it back to you. I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow.
He's a natural, isn't he?
Oh, he is a natural.
Does so much well. Even,
jeez.
I mean, everything.
Yeah.
It just, boy, I hope he has found something with that bat. That would be a great story.
You root for him as a person, first and foremost, because he's such a great human being, and it comes across.
Hey, Eichhoff is still out there.
Yeah, he is. he's doing quick work.
I said, he had a nice outing.
Yeah. Got a quick out. Peraza flied to right, and Ciarte just popped out.
Not think we would see anybody throw 3 innings today.
Whole new set of defenders behind him. As Andres Chaparro gets his first at bat.
Definitely going to lead the Grapefruit League in innings after this.
That's impressive. First outing of the spring, very first game, Jerad Eickhoff. 3 scoreless. Clubhouse beyond the right field seats. Saw Cole Tucker earlier. And this is what he did on the field. That great play out and left. The home run. He was the Pirates leadoff man today at shortstop. And then fly ball that veteran Ender Inciarte misplays into a Cole Tucker triple. And he was aboard when Greg Allen followed with a home run. One of the neat things about spring training, you'll see players make their way to the clubhouses. Time to sign some autographs.
Yeah, there's there's fewer and fewer spots in big league ballparks now where you can really do that signing. With all the netting, it's very important. I think that spring training you find some time in some spot where you can take care of the kids.
First at bat for Ji-Hwan Bae. Jerad Eickhoff went so quickly, the Pirates pitcher, in the top of this inning. We did not get a chance to go through all the changes, but Bae went out to center field. See his numbers last year in the minor leagues. Bae put on an impressive spring last year. A 22-year-old from South Korea. Most of last year at AA Altoona.
He may have caught a break on that last pitch. Guess they're going to be expanding the computerized strike zone to more places in the minor leagues.
Sounds like it. Certain leagues will have it.
Large bases.
Sounds like we might have the larger bases next year in the big leagues. Bay late on the pitch from Ron Marinaccio.
There'll be pitch clocks everywhere.
And that'll be next year. This year, of course, the designated hitter, universal in both leagues. Double headers will be 9 innings. Extra innings, at least for now, though there's talk that they might amend that. No runners on base to begin an inning, as was the case of the previous 2 years. It sounds like a lot of the players liked that rule.
I think they should just go bases loaded, nobody out. What do you think? Bases
Yeah,
loaded,
yeah.
nobody out?
Why not?
Well, you know what I kind of found it out. I thought, oh, there's never going to be even an 11-inning game. But when both teams get the same exact thing, then a lot of times, well, they both do the same thing.
Yeah.
Everybody scores a run, and now we go to the 11th. I think that's why there's a lot of thinking about that rule.
Talk that maybe they'll go regular extra inning rules, maybe the 10th and 11th, and maybe start the 12th or 13th inning with that runner at second base.
I'm telling you, the way to go, bases loaded. That'll open up all kinds of problems for everybody.
It's like starting the football on the 20-yard line.
That's right.
Matt Frazier, another prospect for the Pirates, his first at bat.
Actually, it's kind of like starting at first and goal.
True. See what he did last season at Greensboro and Altoona. 3rd round pick 3 years ago, Matt Frazier by the Pirates. He was the 2021 Pirates Honus Wagner Player of the Year. So awarded the top minor league player Pirates organization. And he draws a walk.
Now batting first baseman, number 74, Hunter Owen.
Frazier aboard. Hunter Owen took over top of the inning at first base. Numbers for Hunter Owen there, and kind of broken his bat on that one. Not able to turn 2.
That's a good job by Frazier doing what he could do to make it difficult down there. They really kind of don't give you much leeway anymore to mess with somebody turning a double play, but he got in there right over the top of the base. Maybe bothered to turn a little. Here we go again. You're not allowed to do much more than he did, but he kind of stayed upright, didn't get all that low, made sure that had to throw over the top of him.
See what Andy Rodriguez has done today as the designated hitter. Hunter Owen at first, 2 outs.
That was interesting that when we talked to Shelty about the DH and about how, I think in a lot of people's opinion, and in Shelty's, that position has really kind of evolved from what it originally was in the last few years. When it first came out, it was like every American League team, they treated it like a separate position.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, you had to get a right fielder, and you had to have a DH. But nowadays, it's more of just a place to just kind of rotate guys in and out of that spot.
Rodriguez down on strikes for the final out. Hunter Owen had taken off on the Pirates lead it, head to the 7th inning. Here at the Friendly City. Pirates believe in offering values to get every fan to PNC Park this season. So check out the many ways you can save on your next trip to PNC Park. Get up to 50% off select games this season. Visit pirates.com/fan values for more details. And it's here at Lecom. Be back home tomorrow. We'll be back on the air here. On AT&T Sportsnet, 1 o'clock as the Tigers come in. There's a Carter Binns. And the catching after Roberto Perez started. And the new pitcher for Pittsburgh is Kyle Nicholas, who came over from the Marlins over the winter in the Jacob Stallings deal. We also got Zach Thompson.
Trying to get those accumulate arms. And stack the minor league system. And you see what he did last season between A-ball and Double-A. Nice strikeout numbers.
'61st overall pick that year, 2020, a high 90s fastball. Slider, curve, changeup. We're going to talk to Dewey Robinson coming up in the bottom of the 7th inning. He was the special advisor, pitching development, coaching, and player development, formerly of the Rays. Talked to him about Pirates pitching throughout the organization as he joined the Pirates over the winter. Kyle Nicholas is facing Blake Perkins. Half swing. Second base scoops, throws. That's Nick Gonzalez. Speaking of top prospects in the Pirates organization.
It's a pretty darn good play. I wasn't sure he was going to have time to make this. He's running away from first base, but he decided to go ahead and cut in front, throw back across the body, and really got him easy at first base. Not even all that close.
These are the guys that I have to believe are going to be part of exciting times when they make it to the big leagues. Nick Gonzalez, his double play partner right now, Leover Peguero.
You might be seeing him playing those positions for a while. Maybe. I mean, there's still a lot to be proven, but they're on their way.
Michael Beltre's first at bat. Now in right field for the Yankees. The Yankees scored twice in the first inning off Will Crowe. Hurt by a walk and a wild pitch in that inning, but he got it 2 frames in, and Chris Stratton scoreless third. Great work from Jared Eichhoff, 3 scoreless for the veteran right-hander. Cole Tucker hit a home run in the bottom of the 3rd, and Greg Allen, a veteran in camp on the big league roster, hit a 2-run homer to give the Pirates the lead in the 5th. Strikeout.
Yeah, nice hard breaking ball down and in. And you mentioned those good strikeout numbers he had last year. A lot more strikeouts than innings pitched. Get a good look at that hard breaking ball and have a swing right over.
There's Anthony Volpe. Good pitch from Kyle Nicholas. Ball to strike with 2 outs and nobody on. We'll talk to, as we mentioned, Dewey Robinson, the Pirates organization, in the bottom of the 7th. He'll join us in the booth here. Blew that by him, 96.
He's showing pretty good command of his pitches. For the most part, we've seen a lot of strikes today. Look at that. That's right where the glove was.
Deep third, but foul. Jared Triolo over there at third for the Pirates now. Hunter Owen at first. Ball fouled off. Still another prospect out there, Triolo. Minor League Gold Glove Award winner last year. The top third baseman in all of minor league baseball last year. Speaking of that, we might see Ke'Bryan Hayes get his spring training debut tomorrow. There's Triolo. Bob and I chatted with Ke'Bryan Hayes yesterday during a workout.
Best thing he said, I am totally healthy.
Yeah, that's the first thing he wanted to tell everybody.
The wrist feels great.
Yep.
That is big.
Man, gets the call.
Another nice inning by Pirate pitching.
Yeah. Would be a good time to call on Dewey Robinson, talk a little pitching. Team president Travis Williams here at the ballpark. 3-2 Pirates lead it, going to the bottom of the 7th inning at Lecom Park. The first game of the season. The spring training needs to be joined again. We mentioned a guy that's been around baseball a lot. Highly respected, and Pirates able to pick up Dewey Robinson, who joined the Pirates this past offseason, special advisor. Dewey, I read a quote from you. You were offered a number of positions by a number of different ball clubs, but you chose Pittsburgh. Why?
A lot of different reasons. It started with Scott Ellerton, Josh Hopper, Ben Cherington. I have a history with all 3 of those guys. And so just doing a little homework, seeing what's going on here, and just completely impressed with the foundation they're building of learning, teaching, a really good environment at the lower levels, and just felt like I would be able to contribute right away and fit into a role that I would be comfortable with. I wanted to scale back on the day-to-day duties and kind of just dive into some smaller areas with the pitchers and be a mentor or an advisor, any way I can help in an organization that is player development. And so I did have some choices, and the deeper I got into it, seeing the facilities, but I called John Baker, our farm director, the closer, after having dinner with him and seeing the plans that he had in place and what he was trying to do here and the people he was bringing in. It's a game changer. And I've said this several times in the last month. We got some good young players. We're going to be good, and it's going to come quick. It's going to be exciting, and I wanted to get on board as soon as.
What's the most important thing that an organization looks for when you first get the guys in real young and they're in the bottom part of the pipeline? What do you want to see from everybody, regardless of their style?
Well, I think the interesting thing is, and you're always trying to identify their strengths or their identity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got to respect and trust your scouts. They've seen something in these kids and bringing them in, so you start with that. And as you get to know them, you start to tweak things as we go along. There's so much that goes into player development now than when you played Bob.
Oh yeah,
you know, we just showed up, right?
Night and day. Yeah. Here's the ball.
Yeah. Now there's nutrition, strength and conditioning. We got movement patterns. We got pitch design. And I feel like here, just in the month and a half I've been here, if a player can't get better here, he can't get better anywhere. So to answer your question, it's so massive right now. And what the Pirates have put in place, like I said earlier, they're going to get better.
Well, you know, I love to hear you say that. You know, the first thing is try and figure out who these guys are first, you know, and give them a little rope to show you before you start moving them around and tweaking things.
Exactly.
That's cool to hear.
Well, you have scouts out there, and you've got to trust them. They spend years on some of these players and pitchers. And to bring him in and just start adjusting off of day one, I don't think it's fair to anybody and fair to the kid that's come in. He's there for a reason. So you just try to identify that and then work off of that and, you know, add pitches, delivery, strength, all that over time. And hopefully you have a major league pitcher.
And the tools that you were just talking about greatly improved from probably even just a decade ago, things that you can use to pick apart a delivery, find a fault, maybe something like that.
Well, I'm going to really date myself, and I think you can appreciate this. When we played, we only had cameras.
Oh,
Little camera.
Maybe cameras.
Yeah,
cameras that you put on your shoulder. Right. They still had
shots, 45 shots per second. And computers, you know, I had to do everything by hand, and you just did this little camera thing. Now that with computers, it's a push of a button. You got all the data you need. You know, the cameras are getting 950 shots per second. You can see everything out of the hand. So it's amazing what you can adapt and see off players and help them train.
Nowadays, they can tell you the angle of spin and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it really is crazy the things that the players have to make themselves better.
And we're spending a lot of time on that over at Pirate City with the TrackMan data, you know, educating them on spin rate, tilt, carry, movement, and you have all this data from the last 10 years that have been gathered, so you know what's good and what's not good. You know, you keep constantly tweaking that and trying to get guys to maximize their stuff, separate it at a home plate so it makes it tougher to hit.
Carter Binns at the plate with 2 outs, 2 strikes. Always hesitate to ask the next question. Let's hope Carter Binns continues the at-bat, because people want to know what the secret to the Tampa Bay Rays was. Well, they took somebody from the Rays, the Pirates did, and Dewey Robinson, and brought him here.
Well, I'll tell you this, and I've had a couple teams call me when I was going through the process, and you could tell they're just looking for answers. You know, they weren't interested in me; they were interested in what's being done there. And I'll say the same thing now that I did when I was being interviewed. I started out with saying you're going to be disappointed because everybody's got the same playbook. You know, it's the people on the ground with these kids day in and day out, the system you put together. And it starts with your scouting departments, your international, your pro, and your amateur. It's a talent-based league. You know, it's based on performance. So you have to start with talent. And then if you have your system in place, you trust your people on the ground that are with these players and pitchers daily, whether they're strength and conditioning trainers, coaches, those are the people that should be in place that can really develop and move these guys together. And that's what we did at Tampa. There's a good group of guys that meshed together that were able to identify some things that we needed to tweak and just work and get them to their strengths and into major league pitchers.
It still comes back to the people.
Yeah.
Having the right.
No question. Yeah.
The right coaches, the right scouts. That's good to
Everybody's
good to
got
hear.
the same
Yeah,
playbook.
There's no secrets.
Yeah.
There is no secret sauce that you
Yeah.
can, it just doesn't happen.
Some teams get ahead of it a little quicker, and the Rays were real good at that. They have some really bright people that work hard and look for an edge here and there, but the industry usually catches up to it. And then
It's not the information; it's what you do with the information.
Exactly, and how you treat your players. And I was talking to our owner earlier this morning. I couldn't rave enough about our people here in the system. It's player oriented.
Whoa. How about that?
Yeah,
Misplayed again,
we
and
see
that's
that
the
a
way
lot
it is here.
That's this ballpark.
Yep.
Spring training
Happens all the time here.
Yep.
blue sky, first game.
Wind blowing up.
Bob, you've been here a long time, and I've played here back in the 80s. I coached here in the 90s coming through here. Has the wind ever blown in here? I've never seen
Only on the cold days. If it's cold, you can get some wind blowing in. But I've seen. Remember the old trees that used to be out there? I've seen many balls go up over those trees and out onto the old Boy Scout roof. This was one of the best home run ballparks in all of baseball. Andy Van Slyke, he was one of the best outfielders I have ever seen. I've said this before many times on our air. He said this is the toughest outfield he's ever played in his life. It's
any ballpark, not just spring training.
Yeah, anywhere. So it's you see somebody out there mess one up, it's like, oh, okay,
well,
it's going to happen.
It's almost automatic. You walk into this park and you see the flags in center field blowing straight up. What a beautiful day, though. Huh?
Oh, what a day to start. Nick Gonzalez, we're talking a lot about Pirate prospects. Here's another. First round pick of the Pirates.
Part of the again, we got 2 outs, and
we're going to ask Dewey to stick around for another half inning because this is going too quickly for us. And Nick Gonzalez going to bring home a run. Carter Binn scores. Pirates lead the Yankees 4-2.
I had a pitching coach way back in the old days, Johnny Sane. I'm sure you know Johnny or know of him and everything. And we used to talk a lot about pitching coaches and coaching in general. And one of the things, and what you were just saying a while ago kind of brought back a memory of him. He used to say it's very important for the player to buy into whatever you're saying, and you sometimes have to trick them in thinking that something he wants them to do is almost their idea, so that they'll really wholehearted go into this stuff. And really, that's kind of like what some of the relationship building that you're talking about, isn't it? That's going down that same type road.
It's coaching, in my mind, is changed 180 degrees since I started 30-something years ago until now. Now, with the way the kids are coming up, they're very educated. They're up to speed on most of the data, everything that they're doing. Back when you and I played, coach says we're going to do it this way. That's the way we did it, or we weren't around. Well, nowadays the kids are much more educated. They have their ways about doing things. And what I try to pride myself on is putting my ducks in a row and really getting all the information, having video, having data, however we're going to present it to, and sit down with the kid and show him, suggest things, but really leave it up to him. It's his career, and let him make a choice. And I'll be there to lead him, but it's ultimately on the pitcher or player to make those decisions. And then there's a lot more buy-in on it, because
he's going to push in all the chips if he's got some input in that.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that kind of stuff, because that's what coaching is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not do this, do that. Maybe it was at one time, but not anymore. You have to relationships.
Well, and there's so much information out there, like I talk about. We do all this data work, all this video. The kids can look at everything. It's sent to their phone. They can look at it the next morning, see their plots, their video. So to just try to educate them, and again, leave it up to them.
Jared Triolo will fly out to right. Pirates pick up a run, a misplayed fly ball by Herrera, the left fielder, and Nick Gonzalez took advantage with the base hit. We're talking to Dewey Robinson, joined the Pirates this offseason. Here he was earlier today talking to Pirates owner Bob Nutting. 4-2 Pirates. And there's Scott Bonnet, Pirates equipment manager, talking to Phil Cuzzy. Bones, back for another spring.
Runs a
Big
tight
Nick.
ship down there.
Nick is his assistant. Yeah, he does run a tight ship. We're talking to Dewey Robinson, who joined the Pirates this offseason, and Bob and Dewey were talking about all the personnel and the evaluators that they have, the scouts, and people that help these players. Here's Adrian Florencio. And he was the Bob Friend Pitcher of the Year award winner of the Pirates organization last season. Essentially the best Pirates minor league pitcher, named after former Pirate great Bob Friend. And so, Dewey, before you made the decision to come to Pittsburgh, well, you had the relationships, built some of the personnel. Talking about John Baker, the closer, who really, I guess, put you over the top. But in addition, you knew that the Pirates had some players to work with, didn't you?
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
yeah. You know, being in Port Charlotte and Tampa and playing Pittsburgh in spring training, instructional league, you know, you pay attention to your opponents to see what they have there. And I've always been impressed, at least at the lower levels, with the bodies, the arms, the athletic ability of what was showing up on the field. So you're excited about what you see out here.
He's working, by the way, with Henry Davis now behind the plate. He's the new catcher.
Now, Florencio, he really has the body for being a pitcher.
Yeah.
Doesn't he? Wow.
He's really a neat kid. He's a strike thrower to begin with really good stuff, and he's kind of just coming into himself. And last year, obviously I wasn't around, but just looking back on what kind of year he had, he just pounded the strike zone. And this spring, I've seen him get better and better in separating his pitches, and he's pretty special.
If you were going to just design one on the computer screen, there's your look right there.
Yeah, the
6'7", 245. Goodness.
Yeah.
With a little bit of a beard, kind of like "Don't mess with me" look out on the mound. I like it.
Well, the beards are standard uniform now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Just 23 years old. He pitched here in Bradenton last year.
How do you decide? I mean, what are you looking for to decide? Okay, it's time for this guy to move up.
Well, first of all, if they're just overmatching the league,
Yeah.
dominating the league, that's what you're looking for, that they've met all the challenges that league's going to provide. Competition that you're faced with can do more for your development than just about anything. So you want to have some success and compete and things like that. But when they get to a point where you might just level off because the competition doesn't even excite you anymore, you've got to move them. Sometimes you don't have that luxury, based on injuries, what's happened on top. You might need to fill a role and have to move somebody sooner than you'd like. But, you're just looking how his pitches are playing. Is he in the strike zone? Is he challenging people? All those kind of things that help move them along.
A nice problem to have would be no place to move him.
Yes. Yeah.
That would be. I guess that would be the ideal scenario, and that probably can be a little bit of a challenge here going forward with a lot of good prospects.
Well, what we're talking about doing too is kind of changing some roles around and giving some versatility to the pitchers. Not just the players can play center, right or left, or put an infielder in the outfielder. In the outfield, we're trying to do. I've been talking about that quite a bit this last month. Here is some versatility and some value in. And Bob, you were a starter your whole career, but if you take a guy that doesn't have 3 good pitches or 4 good pitches, he might be 2+, but he's a strike thrower, and he can go once through the order, 2-3 innings, and save your bullpen a little bit, and do some things like that. So we've been talking about that somewhat, where a guy doesn't really fit the role of a starter going through the order 2 or 3 times, but he might be real effective going through it once.
We'll continue with Dewey Robinson. What a performance by the Pirates pitchers today. Adrian Florencio with a nice job. We'll continue with Dewey Robinson here. The Pirates taking the lead over the New York Yankees by the score of 4-2. Yankees scored twice in the first as Will Crow got his work in, and since then it's Chris Stratton, Jared Eichhoff, Kyle Nicholas, and Adrian Florencio just throwing zeros up there. And we're talking to Dewey Robinson, who joined the Pirates organization after so many years with Tampa Bay, the former Rays director of pitching development, and now he'll expand his role with the Pirates, and just talking about bringing the personnel, the players, but also having the people in the organization that can help those players. Mitch Spence is now on the mound for the Yankees facing Ji-Hwan Bae, and we wanted to kind of finish up here with Dewey Robinson. When we hear someone, Dewey, from another organization, talk like you have about coming over here when you had some choices, had opportunities to come here, that's exciting for Pirate fans, because to have someone as highly respected as you had your choice of going to just about any organization you want. choose Pittsburgh. You've told us here today that that's exciting.
Well, I'd like to back up for one moment and just say I had a wonderful time with Tampa.
Mhm.
They are very family oriented. They just treated me great. I have nothing but great memories there, and the people. It was a tremendous experience for me, and I think I needed a change. I was looking to get out of coordinating all the day-to-day, running the whole pitching department, and wanted to scale back. I felt like I owed it to myself to slow down a little bit, and they were good about it. And I was really looking for more of an advisor role, so I can just show up and help where needed and tweak this and tweak that instead of trying to organize spring training, the roster management during the season, all that stuff, which Josh Hopper has done a great job here with. But it's nice to see somebody else do it for a change.
I bet. Where's home for you, Dewey?
I grew up in Chicago, but we've been in Sarasota for 35 years now. I moved down when I played for the White Sox for a few years and then started coaching for them, and they were in Sarasota at the time. And my wife said, as long as we keep going south, that's where we're. So we've been there ever since and just watched the city explode and just grow up. But wonderful area around here.
Yeah, isn't it great? And this ballpark, Dewey?
I've seen it.
Yeah, I know you've seen it. Yeah.
And
renovations.
And another game changer for me is when they gave me the tour of Pirate City and Lecom. It was a hidden gem. It was like one of the facilities, the brand new facilities they're building out in Arizona to take the teams from Florida to Phoenix. And I didn't realize all the room and all the stuff that they've put in there and are going to continue to do that. And it's only going to help the development of the players.
Well, Matt Frazier is at the plate, one of the prospects. We can't thank Dewey Robinson enough for spending some time with us in the booth. It's really a treat, Dewey, to get a chance to chat with you. Really appreciate it.
Well, it's been my pleasure, and I'm really excited about being
Sorry
here.
about my mature handshake last inning. I thought you were going. But now that there's just one out, and we've gotten into a little discussion there in between innings, and I think we got time because I thought it was a very interesting point and maybe part of the secret sauce from Tampa here now. We were talking about the 2-pitch pitchers and 3-pitch pitchers, and maybe they're better for relief. And we were talking about when a guy's starting, it's the other team's manager that decides who you're going to face. When you're coming out of the bullpen, it's your team's manager that's going to decide who you're going to face. And that makes it a little easier on the 2-pitch guys coming out of the bullpen. And you pointed out that in Tampa, they're really a proponent of maybe bringing somebody out of the bullpen to face that lineup first time through. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, it started at the major league level, and it kind of evolved and blew up to something that I thought was really exciting, where they used an opener to start the game, and it was twofold. It was one, they had a lot of young starters that they didn't want to put innings on, and two, they were short starters at a time. So what they decided to do, and Enrique Romo, not Enrique, Romo, Sergio,
yeah.
Enrique goes back.
Yeah,
to
that's
That's a way back.
Yeah. He actually was our first opener.
Huh.
And it was a heavy right-handed lineup. I think he got 6 up, 6 down, and then brought in a lefty behind him that could go through the order. And it's matchups. It's given it's giving the pitcher the best odds of getting those hitters out. And so before you know it, you're in the 6th or 7th inning. And if you're ahead, you can go to your A relievers. There's a lot of choices there. So
And the starter, not the opener, but the guy you brought in next, you might be in the 7th inning. He's only got 50 pitches perhaps because he came in late, which is unheard of nowadays.
Yeah. And it's really matchups. It's who you're at the major league level. It's who you're facing. So you come around at, if you look at all the data, the starter, once he starts facing that order the 3rd time through, the numbers really go up.
Hard shot. Oh, nice play. It's short. Volpe, and then on to second and first for the double play. Again, Dewey, thanks again.
My
Really
pleasure.
appreciate it. Great
Okay.
stuff from Dewey
Third
Robinson.
time here.
Pirates lead it 4-2.
All right, guys. Well, we got to send a big congratulations and best wishes to two big Bucco fans, Lori Evans and Jeff Carstelli from Leechburg, Pennsylvania, becoming to spring training for 11 years. And the lockout ended just in time for them to catch a ball game and also to get married. They're headed up to Anna Maria Island. 66 people coming to watch them tie the knot tomorrow. So, Greg and Bob, we want to say a big congratulations to Lori Evans and Jeff Carstelli from Leechburg, tying the knot and watching a little ball game beforehand.
Thank you for that, Robbie. They talked about one of the highlights for them as they've come down, as you said, 11 years spring training, meeting Robbie and Smikowski. Yeah, they're going to get married at the beach house tomorrow on the island.
Out on the sand. That's a nice place to get married. That's a beautiful spot.
New pitcher for the Pirates is Blake Wyman. Going to finish up here in the 9th inning thanks to Dewey Robinson. Thanks to Robbie for playing hurt. He's got that finger issue, but grinding through it.
It makes it very difficult to hold a mic.
Yep. Oh, nice play on the short hop. Triolo, Gold Glover in the Pirates minor leagues. Made that look easy.
Didn't take long for that ball to get across the diamond either. It was a little bit of a short hop, but still, he showed pretty good velocity.
Hunter Owen on the other end.
Just the 9th, yeah. Lost. What was that?
12 in a row retired by Pirates pitching.
Yeah, you get Dewey up here, and then boom, 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 boom.
Pirates pitchers have allowed 2 singles since the first inning. Been an impressive array of Pirates pitchers that have followed Will Crowe, went 2 innings to start.
Dewey's one of those guys. He's fun to talk pitching with. Just
a guy
who's
he's embraced, obviously,
the modern
analytics,
techniques,
of course, yeah.
But
he's still old school.
Yeah,
enough.
he didn't lose his appreciation for the people part of it either.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just, and that's
refreshing, isn't it?
Yeah. He even had me rethinking some stuff there that I'm like always totally against. Like the opener.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like,
you got excited about it. Oh, yeah,
okay,
makes sense.
I can, it's like, well, I've been coming around to it for a little while now, but all right, I get it. It makes sense to, if you got a great matchup guy in that bullpen against their particular lineup that day, let him handle the first time through.
Like you said, their manager has set the lineup.
Yeah. That's the difference between it, and that's why a lot of over the years you hear starters need more pitches because they have to. A righty has to get lefties out.
Yeah,
I mean, now when you're coming out of the bullpen, you're coming in most of the time, not every time, but most of the time in a situation that your manager thinks you're going to have the most success in.
Mm-hmm.
He likes matchups, but as a starter, okay, they say you're going to be the starter. 3 days early, and so that manager over there, he's picked his lineup that thinks is going to have the most success against you.
Yeah. Oh, deep to left, towering drive, Rodolfo Duran. And that wind blowing out toward left will help it, but boy, that was a bomb by the catcher.
Yeah, there wasn't any wind-aided home run there. He got all of that.
Makes it 4-3. No doubter.
Yep, don't even look at it. Once you know it's gone, just turn away.
Yeah.
Don't watch it.
Andres Chaparro for these Yankees now. 1-run game in the 9th with 1 out. So the first game here, Pirates and Yankees, League Comp. Tomorrow, Tigers are here. We're back on AT&T Sportsnet at 1 o'clock. Pirates will open up the regular season on Thursday, April the 7th in St. Louis against the Cardinals. They'll open the home schedule on April the 12th, 4-1-2 day at PNC Park against Chicago. The walk there to Chaparro. And you can download the MLB app to get in-game video highlights, live pitch-by-pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and more for your Pirates. Thanks to Jason Steele, executive stage manager, here with us. Adam Elmore is our producer up in Pittsburgh. Director Pete Toma. Doug Johnson is here.
Is our A2 today?
Strike on Blake Perkins.
I really don't know what A2 is. I've heard guys talk about that, so threw that out there. I don't want people to think I know what I'm talking about. These TV words. Foul ball.
Foul.
Nothing but a strike.
And tomorrow, by the way, Mitch Keller will start for the Pirates. It'll be fun to watch him. He did some work in the offseason.
Yeah, I've heard he's throwing real hard.
Yeah. Triple digits. David Bednar will also get some work. Dwayne Underwood Jr. We'll see some more Pirate pitching prospects. Carmen Majinski, Mike Burrows will pitch tomorrow. Blake Wyman strikes out Perkins for the second out. And now Michael Beltre. A lot of strikes from Pirates pitchers. Blake Wyman trying to finish off these Yankees.
I think he's got him after seeing that swing.
Wyman was an 8th-round pick of the Pirates in 2017. 35 games out of the bullpen last year for the Indianapolis Indians. One and two. Blake Wyman. Taken for a ball on a stolen base. Couldn't get a grip on it, looked like. Double clutch.
A little double clutch, and it's close enough that if he'd have got the throw immediately, I think he had him. All right, come on, strike 3.
A defensive swing, little dribbler.
Let it go, let it go. There you go.
Henry Davis took charge, didn't he?
Yeah. Thought it was going to be picked up for a moment.
Yeah.
Who was it last year that on the other team that knocked
Oh,
the
it was,
ball over like
Marcus
that?
Stroman? Was it?
I think we scored a run.
It's somebody for the Mets. Taiwan Walker.
We saw a lot of first-time stuff last year.
Oh. Some things we hope to never see again. 2-2. He got him. Blake Wyman, the final out. And a nice afternoon on the sun coast of Florida. A real treat. Have baseball back.